Hey, warrior. Every single morning, you stand at the crossroads of who you were and who you're about to become. Before the noise of the world floods in, before notifications, headlines, and opinions take over, you have a sacred window of control. A few golden minutes that decide the tone, the focus, and the strength of your next 24 hours. But here's the truth. Most people waste it. They wake up and hand over their peace before their feet even touch the floor. They reach for their phone, open their minds to chaos, and let the world dictate their emotions. And then they wonder why their day feels heavy, distracted, and out of control. The Stoics knew better. They understood that the morning isn't just a time of day, it's a battlefield for the mind. Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher king of Rome, once wrote, "When you rise in the morning, tell yourself, 'Today I will meet people who are meddling, ungrateful, arrogant, dishonest, jealous, and surly.'" He wasn't being cynical. He was preparing. He knew that by expecting life to test him, he could meet it with strength instead of surprise. Right now, modern neuroscience agrees with what the Stoics discovered 2,000 years ago. Your first thoughts literally shape your brain. The mind is most impressionable in the first few minutes after waking. Those moments carve the mental pathways that determine how you'll respond to stress, temptation, and uncertainty throughout the day. So the question is, who's programming your mind every morning? You or the outside world? Most people allow random noise to set their emotional temperature. But Stoics? They take charge of it. They speak truth to themselves before the world can lie to them. That's the hidden power behind this practice. The Morning Stoic Secret. 10 powerful truths you tell yourself each morning. Not fantasy affirmations, not wishful thinking, but grounded, reality-based reminders that align your mind with how the world actually works. What if tomorrow you woke up and felt an unexplainable calm before the day began? What if criticism couldn't shake you, failure couldn't break you, and uncertainty couldn't move you off-center? That's the state the Stoics called ataraxia, unshakable inner tranquility. It's not something you're born with, it's something you build, one disciplined morning at a time. Think of it like forging armor for your mind before stepping into battle. Each phrase you'll hear is a weapon, one forged in the fires of real human struggle. They've been tested by warriors, philosophers, generals, and leaders who refused to be victims of circumstance. These words carried men through war, loss, failure, and chaos, and they still work today, because human nature hasn't changed. We still wrestle with fear, we still get lost in comparison, we still lose focus and chase distractions, but these 10 Stoic truths will help you master those battles from the inside out. This isn't positive thinking, it's philosophical conditioning, a rewiring of your mind toward discipline, courage, and peace. So before we begin, I want you to make a choice right now, the same choice Marcus Aurelius made every morning, to live with awareness, to respond with reason, to rise above emotion and act with virtue. Because from this day forward, your mornings belong to you. If you're ready to take back your mind, if you're done letting the world control your emotions, hit that like button right now. It's your way of saying, "I'm ready." Drop a comment below and tell me, what's your biggest struggle in the morning? Is it overthinking? Distraction? Doubt? Share this video with someone who needs to hear these words. Because we're building something here. An army of thinkers, warriors, and modern Stoics who refuse to live on autopilot. And as you listen to these next 10 truths, don't just hear them, absorb them. Let them become part of your morning ritual, part of your mindset, part of your life. Because when you control your morning, you control your day. And when you control your day, you control your destiny. So take a breath, center your mind, and let's begin. The Morning Stoic Secret. Number 1. I am responsible for how today feels. The moment you take full responsibility for how today feels, everything in your life begins to shift. This isn't about self-blame or pretending bad things don't happen. It's about reclaiming your inner power. the power to choose your response no matter what the world throws at you. Viktor Frankl, the psychiatrist and Holocaust survivor, discovered this truth in the darkest depths of human suffering. He wrote, "Everything can be taken from a man but one thing, the last of the human freedoms, to choose one's attitude in any given set of circumstances. If a man stripped of everything could still control his mind, what excuse do we have in the comfort of our daily lives? Most people live as emotional hostages. Their mood swings with the weather, with traffic, with a stranger's comment online. They wake up and hand over their peace to the first notification they see. That's not living. That's emotional slavery. But when you rise each morning and say, 'I am responsible for how today feels,' you break that chain. You're declaring independence from external control. You're saying your happiness, your focus, your peace, they are not negotiable. They belong to you." The Stoic philosopher Epictetus taught, "We suffer not from things themselves, but from our judgments about them." Change the judgment, and the suffering loses its power. You can't always control what happens around you, but you always control what happens within you. So as you start your day, place your hand on your heart and remind yourself, "I am responsible for how today feels. My emotions are my choice. My peace is my decision. Today, I choose clarity over confusion, calm over chaos, and courage over fear." Watch what happens when you stop reacting and start responding with intention. You'll discover a quiet freedom, the kind that no one can grant and no one can take away, because it's born from within. Number 2, nothing can disturb my peace without my permission. Your peace of mind is your most sacred fortress, and you are its only gatekeeper. Every morning before the noise of the world creeps in, you must decide who and what will be allowed past your walls, because if you don't, the world will decide for you. Most people leave their gates wide open. They let every insult, every worry, every piece of gossip march straight in and take residence in their minds. They allow strangers, situations, and circumstances to rent space inside their peace for free. Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher and emperor, wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." He understood that real power doesn't come from controlling what happens around you. It comes from mastering what happens within you. When you declare, "Nothing can disturb my peace without my permission," you're not just repeating words, you're drawing the boundaries of your soul. You're saying, "My inner world is not a public park where chaos can roam freely." You become the vigilant guardian of your own tranquility. This doesn't mean you shut yourself off or stop feeling. It means you rise above impulsive reaction. The Stoics called this the discipline of desire, the art of wanting only what's within your control. You acknowledge pain without becoming it. You witness frustration without feeding it. There's a hidden power in the pause, that sacred breath between what happens and how you respond. Most people move so quickly that they never notice it. But those who do discover something extraordinary, in that pause lies absolute freedom. Every morning, look yourself in the mirror and speak these words with authority. "Nothing can disturb my peace without my permission. I am the guardian of my inner world. Today, I decide who and what gets access to my mind. My peace is not for sale, not for rent, and not open for debate." Watch how your energy shifts when you live this truth. The world will no longer have the power to shake you, because when your peace comes from within, no one on earth can take it away. Drop this affirmation in the comments right now. I am the guardian of my own peace. Number 3, today I focus only on what I can control. The fastest way to lose your peace and your sanity is to try controlling what was never yours to command. Yet every day, millions of people drain their energy worrying about things they can't touch. Other people's opinions, the economy, the weather, traffic, politics, and imagined futures that may never come to pass. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus gave humanity a truth so simple yet so life-changing that it can rewire your entire mindset. Some things are within our control and others are not. He divided existence into two realms, the controllable and the uncontrollable. Master this distinction, and you master yourself. So what is within your control? Your effort, your attitude, your actions, your words, your focus, your reactions, your decisions. That's it. Everything else, the weather, the past, other people's moods, even tomorrow's outcomes, belongs to the realm of fate. And yet, most people live backward. They spend 90% of their time obsessing over what they can't change, while neglecting the small but powerful things they can. They worry about what someone might say instead of improving what they can do. They lose sleep over tomorrow's problems while ignoring today's opportunities. They try to bend the world instead of mastering their own responses to it. But when you rise each morning and affirm, "Today I focus only on what I can control," you reclaim your energy from chaos. You shift from anxiety to action, from helplessness to influence, from confusion to clarity. The Stoics practiced a powerful visualization called the circle of control. Imagine your life divided into 3 circles. The first, things you control completely. The second, things you can influence. The third, things you can't control at all. Your mission, give 90% of your energy to the first circle, 10% to the second, and absolutely none to the third. Because every thought you waste outside that circle is energy stolen from your growth. This mental discipline transforms your mornings. Instead of waking up overwhelmed by global chaos, you wake up empowered by personal purpose. You stop reacting to the world and start directing your world. Stand tall, look yourself in the mirror, and declare with strength, "Today, I focus only on what I can control. I will not waste energy on what I cannot change. My attention belongs to my effort, my choices, and my response, because that's where my true power lives." When you live this way, no storm can move you, because your anchor is planted deep within. Number 4. My worth is not measured by today's outcomes. Your value as a human being has nothing to do with what happens today, not the promotion you get or don't get, not the argument you win or lose, not the applause or silence of others. Yet most people live as if their self-worth is tied to performance, riding an emotional roller coaster that never stops, soaring when life goes right, crashing when it doesn't. The Stoic philosopher Seneca, once one of Rome's most powerful and wealthy men, learned this truth through the fire of suffering. Exiled by Emperor Caligula and later ordered to take his own life by Nero, Seneca discovered something profound, that worldly success is fragile, but inner worth is eternal. He wrote, "Every new beginning comes from some other beginning's end." In those words lies a timeless reminder, who you are is far greater than what happens to you. Society trains us to measure our value by productivity, by income, by titles and praise. We wake up each morning feeling pressured to prove ourselves worthy, to earn validation through what we accomplish before we go to sleep. It's a trap that leaves even the most successful people empty. Because if your worth depends on outcomes, it will rise and fall with the tides of fortune. When you affirm, "My worth is not measured by today's outcomes," you're cutting the strings that tie your self-esteem to external results. You're saying, "I am valuable because I exist, not because of what I achieve." You're separating effort from identity, recognizing that who you are at your core remains untouched by either failure or success. This doesn't mean you stop striving for excellence or lose ambition. It means you pursue greatness from a place of wholeness, not from a sense of lack. You can aim high, work hard, and still know that missing the mark doesn't make you less. It only makes you human. The Stoics called outcomes like success, recognition, and wealth preferred indifference. They are desirable, but not defining. Getting the job is preferred, but not getting it doesn't make you unworthy. Winning is satisfying, but losing doesn't strip away your dignity. So every morning, Remind yourself of this truth that sets the soul free. My worth is not measured by today's outcomes. I am valuable because I exist, not because of what I accomplish. I will give my best effort, but I refuse to let results define me. Success or failure, I remain whole, worthy, and at peace. When you truly live from this awareness, the pressure to prove yourself dissolves, and what remains is quiet confidence, rooted in unshakable self-respect. Number 5. I will act, not just intend. The distance between intention and action, that small invisible gap, is where most dreams quietly die. Every morning, countless people wake up with good intentions. They tell themselves they'll start the business, write the book, fix the habit, make the call, begin the change. But by nightfall, their intentions remain just that. Ideas floating in the mind, never brought to life. Marcus Aurelius, emperor and philosopher, faced this same human struggle. In his meditations, he reminded himself, "At dawn, when you rise unwillingly, let this thought be present. I am rising to the work of a human being." He understood that thought without movement is the most seductive form of procrastination, because it feels productive while keeping you exactly where you are. The difference between those who succeed and those who merely wish lies in that single decision, to act. It's not talent, it's not luck, it's the discipline to close the gap between thinking and doing. While most people are perfecting their plans, successful people are perfecting their execution. While others wait for the right moment, the doers create the moment through bold, imperfect action. When you declare, "I will act, not just intend," you are declaring war on hesitation. You are choosing to become a person of action, someone who does things imperfectly rather than endlessly plans them to perfection. Because progress doesn't come from overthinking, it comes from movement. Stoicism is not a philosophy of empty words, it is a philosophy of motion. Virtue, to the Stoics, was action. Wisdom wasn't something you discussed, it was something you lived. Knowing what's right is useless unless you practice it. Knowledge without action is just mental entertainment, a distraction disguised as diligence. Every morning, this declaration rewires your mind for follow-through. Psychologists call it implementation intention, the moment you connect your goals directly to your behavior. You stop saying, "I should," and start saying, "I will." Not, "I want to exercise, but I will act on my health." Not, "I should call my parents, but I will act on my love for family." The moment you step across that line, from intention to action, everything in your life begins to shift. You stop waiting for permission and start creating your own path. You stop hoping things will change and start being the reason they do. So stand tall, take a breath, and speak it with conviction. I will act, not just intend. Today, I choose progress over perfection, action over analysis, doing over dreaming. My intentions mean nothing without execution. Today, I move. Because once you act, even in the smallest way, momentum takes over. And that, Stoic warrior, is where transformation truly begins. Number 6. Every challenge is a chance to grow stronger. The same fire that melts butter hardens steel. Every morning you get to decide which one you'll be when life turns up the heat. Most people see obstacles as punishment, bad luck, unfair setbacks, signs the universe is against them. But the wise understand something deeper. Challenges are not roadblocks, they are training grounds. They are the gymnasium where character is built, discipline is tested, and strength is forged. Admiral James Stockdale, a U.S. Navy pilot shot down and held captive for 7 years in a brutal Vietnamese prison, credited his survival to Stoic philosophy. He endured torture, isolation, and despair, yet never broke. He said, "You must never confuse faith that you will prevail in the end, which you can never afford to lose, with the discipline to confront the most brutal facts of your current reality." That's the essence of Stoicism. Unshakable faith in the future combined with brutal honesty in the present. Challenges don't destroy you. They reveal you. They show you what you're made of and give you the rare opportunity to become stronger, wiser, and more resilient than before. Right now, you may be facing something heavy: financial pressure, a broken relationship, a health scare, or career uncertainty. Your first instinct might be to wish it away, to ask, "Why me?" or to long for easier circumstances. But what if life isn't happening to you? What if it's happening for you? The ancient Stoics believed every obstacle was an invitation, a divine opportunity for growth. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." Every obstacle hides within it the seed of transformation, waiting to be uncovered by a disciplined mind. When you tell yourself, "Every challenge is a chance to grow stronger," you reframe your entire relationship with difficulty. You stop being a victim of fate and become a student of life. You stop asking, "Why is this happening to me?" and start asking, "What is this trying to teach me?" This doesn't mean you should seek suffering, but it means you understand that resistance is the price of strength, and strength is the path to meaning. A muscle only grows when it faces resistance. A mind only matures when it faces hardship, and a soul only evolves when it faces adversity. So each morning, prepare your heart and mind for the tests ahead. Say to yourself, "Every challenge is a chance to grow stronger. I welcome difficulties as opportunities to develop my character." Today's obstacles are tomorrow's strengths. I do not pray for an easier life. I pray to become a stronger person, because the fire that tests you today is the same fire that will forge the unbreakable version of you tomorrow. Number 7. I will not compare my journey to anyone else's. Comparison is the thief of joy, but it also steals something far greater: your peace, your progress, and your authenticity. Every morning, countless people wake up and immediately measure their worth against someone else's highlight reel. They scroll through social media, comparing their behind-the-scenes reality to someone else's carefully edited performance. They forget that what they see is not truth. It's presentation. It's the glossy surface of lives that, like their own, are filled with unseen fears, doubts, and struggles. Epictetus once wrote, "How much trouble he avoids who does not look to see what his neighbor says or does, but only to what he does himself." He understood that the only meaningful competition in life is the one between who you are and who you are becoming. The moment you shift your gaze from others to your own growth, you reclaim your peace. Social media has turned comparison into a 24/7 addiction. You see someone's vacation and suddenly your life feels dull. You see their promotion and your career feels stagnant. You see their perfect relationship and start to question your own. But what you don't see are their arguments, their insecurities, their failures, their nights of quiet desperation. You are comparing your entire story to someone else's single polished chapter, and it will always leave you feeling behind. When you declare, "I will not compare my journey to anyone else's," you are choosing freedom. You're choosing to run your race at your own pace, not faster, not slower, but truer. You're rejecting society's timeline and choosing your own divine rhythm. You're acknowledging that every person begins at a different starting line, faces different storms, and carries different weights. Your journey is sacred because it is yours. Your struggles, your triumphs, your scars, all form a map uniquely designed for your soul's evolution. Trying to live another person's path is like wearing their shoes. They may look perfect, but they will never fit your feet, and over time, they'll only cause you pain. The wisest and most fulfilled people have stopped trying to impress others. They no longer chase approval, they pursue alignment. They've learned to celebrate others' victories without diminishing their own. They've realized that success has no single definition, and that peace is found in authenticity, not comparison. So this morning, make your commitment to authenticity clear. I will not compare my journey to anyone else's. My path is unique, my timing is perfect, and my progress is enough. I celebrate the success of others without questioning my own worth. I am exactly where I need to be on my sacred path of becoming. Because when you stop comparing, you stop competing. And when you stop competing, you start evolving. Number 8. I choose discipline. Over motivation. Motivation is like the weather, unpredictable, inconsistent, and completely outside your control. Some mornings you wake up with fire in your spirit, ready to conquer the world. Other mornings, even getting out of bed feels like a battle. That's why the truly great don't rely on motivation. They rely on discipline. Discipline is like breathing. It doesn't ask for permission. It doesn't wait for inspiration. It simply works, whether you feel like it or not. The Roman general and Stoic philosopher Cato the Younger embodied this truth. Even in the bitter cold of winter, he would walk barefoot through the streets of Rome, training both his body and his mind to serve his will. He understood that comfort weakens resolve, and that discipline is the bridge between intention and achievement. You see, most people wait for motivation to arrive like lightning, unpredictable, rare, and fleeting. They think they need to feel good before they can do good, but feelings are unreliable. Discipline isn't. While the unmotivated wait for the perfect mood, the disciplined act despite the mood, and while one group waits, the other wins. When you declare, "I choose discipline over motivation," you're freeing yourself from emotional slavery. You're saying, "My actions are not held hostage by my feelings." You're choosing to move with purpose, not mood, with consistency, not convenience. Discipline is a muscle, and every choice strengthens it. Every time you choose to show up when it's easier to quit, your willpower grows. Every time you keep a promise to yourself, your self-respect deepens. Every time you act without waiting to feel ready, you expand what you believe is possible. The Stoics called this the discipline of action, the ability to do what virtue requires, even when it's difficult, boring, or uncomfortable. They knew that motivation is fleeting, but discipline is eternal. Motivation builds moments. Discipline builds legacies. Think of the most successful person you admire. They're not more talented, not more inspired, not even more fortunate than you. They're simply more consistent. They've learned to divorce their actions from their emotions and marry their behavior to their values. They don't need to feel like doing it. They do it because it must be done. So this morning, make your commitment crystal clear. I choose discipline over motivation. I act based on my commitments, not my feelings. Today, I will do what I said I would do, whether I feel like it or not. My discipline is my superpower. My consistency is my crown. My actions will shape my destiny. Because while motivation gets you started, only discipline will carry you to greatness. Number 9. Gratitude will shape how I see the day. Your perspective is your reality, and gratitude is the lens that transforms that reality from ordinary to miraculous. Every morning, you stand at a crossroads. You can focus on what's missing, or you can focus on what's already present. One path leads to anxiety and lack, the other leads to abundance and peace. Seneca once wrote, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it." He understood that life's beauty often hides behind the veil of routine, and gratitude is what lifts that veil. Gratitude isn't denial of your problems, it's recognition of your blessings in spite of them. Right now, as you listen to these words, your heart beats faithfully without your command. Your lungs breathe life into you without your permission. You have clean water, a roof over your head, and the gift of consciousness itself, a miracle so profound that ancient philosophers spent their lives trying to comprehend it. And yet, most mornings we wake up scrolling through complaints, chasing what we don't have, blind to what we already do. When you declare, "Gratitude will shape how I see the day," you're making a radical decision to see life not through the lens of lack, but through the lens of plenty. You're training your mind to notice the good that's already unfolding, even in imperfect moments. Neuroscience confirms what the Stoics knew centuries ago. Gratitude literally rewires the brain. It builds neural pathways that make you more optimistic, more resilient, and more present. Gratitude doesn't mean pretending everything is perfect. It means remembering that even in imperfection, there's something to be thankful for. It's not about having everything you want. It's about wanting everything you already have. The Stoics practiced what they called premeditatio malorum, negative visualization. They would imagine losing what they currently had, not to create sadness, but to deepen appreciation. By visualizing loss, they intensified gratitude for what was still theirs: a family member, a friend, a quiet morning, or even the breath that sustains them. So this morning, don't rush into your day distracted by what's missing. Pause. Look around you. Feel your heart beating. Feel the air fill your lungs. Feel the ground beneath your feet. And whisper to yourself, "Gratitude will shape how I see the day. I will notice the good that surrounds me. Today I choose abundance over scarcity, appreciation over complaint, and wonder over worry. My grateful heart creates my happy life." Because when gratitude becomes your vision, every moment becomes a miracle waiting to be seen. Number 10. I will end the day better than I started. Every sunrise presents you with a sacred contract. You are given 24 hours, a new chapter in the book of your becoming. What you invest in those hours determines whether you end the day richer in wisdom, stronger in character, and closer to the person you were born to be. This isn't about chasing massive victories every day. It's about mastering the art of small, consistent growth, the quiet, daily disciplines that compound into extraordinary transformation. Seneca practiced a powerful evening ritual, reflecting on his actions with piercing honesty. He would ask himself, "What wound did I heal today? What impulse did I resist? Where did I show improvement?" He understood that the goal was never perfection. It was progress, because even a 1% improvement each day becomes monumental over time. Mathematically, if you grow just 1% daily for a year, you don't end up twice as good. You end up 37 times better. When you declare, "I will end the day better than I started," you're turning every moment into a classroom for growth. That difficult conversation becomes a lesson in patience. That failure becomes feedback. That delay becomes training in discipline. Every experience, pleasant or painful, becomes raw material for your evolution. This mindset makes failure impossible. Even when the day goes wrong, you can still win by learning. Even when you stumble, you can rise wiser. Even when you fall short, you can adjust your aim and try again tomorrow. It's not about being hard on yourself. It's about being intentional with your time, your energy, and your attention. When you commit to ending each day better than you began, you create momentum, a compounding current that carries you steadily toward the life you were meant to live. And this is where everything comes full circle. These 10 morning declarations aren't just words. They're a blueprint for an unshakable life. When you wake each day taking responsibility for your emotions, protecting your peace, focusing only on what you can control, recognizing your inherent worth, choosing action over intention, seeing challenges as growth, rejecting comparison, prioritizing discipline, and practicing gratitude, you stop reacting to life and start directing it. The Stoics understood what modern self-help often forgets. True power doesn't come from pretending everything's fine. It comes from facing reality with courage, wisdom, and grace. So remember, you don't need to be perfect. You just need to be consistent. Start with one truth, live it, then add another. Over time, these habits will shape your mornings, your days, and eventually, your destiny. Your life becomes your legacy, one morning, one action, one choice at a time. If this message spoke to you, hit the like button, share it with someone who needs it, and drop a comment with your favorite morning declaration. And if you haven't already, subscribe, because your future self will thank you for every moment you invested in your growth today.